Welcome to the Making Space for podcast, where we embark on a journey to simplify, organize, and prioritize our lives. I'm your host, Paige Rabin, and on each episode, we'll explore the art of intentional living, helping you make room for what truly matters. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, it's easy to find ourselves surrounded by things that don't contribute to our happiness or well-being. Making Space for is your guide to decluttering not just your physical space, but also your mind and soul. We'll dive into practical tips on downsizing, right-sizing, and the transformative power of letting go. Whether you're starting at a cluttered closet, pondering legacy planning, or seeking the elusive balance between work and self-care, this podcast is your sanctuary for inspiration and actionable insights. Join us as we feature experts, share personal stories, and explore the profound impact of intentional living. Together, we'll navigate this journey toward a simpler, more fulfilling life, one where you have more of what matters and less of what doesn't. Before we delve into today's episode, a quick shout out to our flagship company, A Move Handled with Care. As Denver Metro's premier senior and specialty move management expert since 2007, we've mastered the art of downsizing, right-sizing, organizing, and every step in between. From packing and moving to unpacking and staging, our experienced staff represents all stages of life, offering a compassionate touch to what matters most to you. So if you're looking to make a seamless transition while keeping what truly matters in focus, trust A Move Handled with Care. Visit us at amovehandledwithcare.com or on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn to discover the difference. Let's continue making space for the life you deserve. Welcome back to the Making Space for podcast. Today's episode is a special year-end recap with the two of us, Paige and Cierra, reflecting on 2025. We're sharing highlights from the year, a few company stats, answers to some of your most common questions, and what we're most excited about as we head into 2026. This is our year-end recap. We figured it out, guys. Hello and welcome. We're going to do a little chat, a little 2025 recap, what we're looking forward to in 2026. It's been an interesting year, and so we just wanted to hop on and kind of chat a little bit about what we've been up to.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
2025 has been quite an interesting year for A Move Handled with Care. As you all know, I guess we should introduce ourselves. I'm Cierra Olmstead, co-owner, and who are you?
I'm Paige Rabin, co-owner, and my technical title on my business card says COO. Yours says
CEO.
She's the big dog. She's the big dog.
Yes. But no, we've had. I always love this time of year, and when we were talking about doing this podcast, we were like, "What should we do?" And I thought, let's just recap. Let's recap our year. So, let's get started. And we have some really exciting things that we did this year.
Yeah, we pulled together some statistics. We share this every year. Typically it's in our newsletter, which if you have not joined our newsletter, please go to our website. Let us know you want to be a part of that. We send it out monthly. We usually do this in our newsletter, but we thought, why not share it in other ways? Yes. But we've got some data from the year. So I'll kick it off. The first one is the most important one. We've done over 325 transactions. That's a big number. 325 transactions. That could be, most of those are moves. Some of those maybe don't involve a move. Maybe it's, helping somebody downsize in their own home. Maybe it's just packing somebody up. But on average, most of those are moves. So we're almost averaging a move a day, which is pretty amazing. So just people have asked us also too, what is our capacity? Most of the time on a day in A Move Handled with Care, we are doing 1, 2, or 3 moves or transactions per day. Mm-hmm. So we've got a big enough team where we can do that many transactions in one day.
Yeah. And it really just depends, because it depends on the size of the job in which 1, 2, or 3 can happen, whether it's a pack or someone's out sorting or someone's packing and sorting and then moving or loading or, all the things that come with that. And I think one thing that I'm really proud of that we've done a lot of this year is presentations.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of speaking engagements that has really gotten us out in the community, and we did 15 presentations, and I just got done doing a series of presentations with a group called The Squad, and it really was such a great time because it was myself, it was Chris Hornbaker from Davis Shelkin Law, Jan Peterson from Blossom Senior Care, And then the stellar senior placement, not care. Yeah, senior placement. Sorry, Jan. And then the stellar group, Blair Bryant with the stellar group. And that was really fun because it really got us more out into the community because we didn't host any of those at communities. We hosted them at the Lone Tree Art Center, the Parker Art Center,
some libraries maybe.
We didn't do libraries. No, we did Lakewood, the Lakewood Arts
Heritage Eagle Bend. You did
and Heritage Eagle Bend,
yeah.
And it was really fun because it just really got us out into the community. And I would love to do more this year. I love doing that. Mm-hmm. I love presenting to people.
And we like to present to people because education is a huge part of our core values at a Move Handle with Care, because when you have time, you have options, but also when you have knowledge, you have power. And so we like to make sure people know like what's coming down. And that's why this podcast, when, we do our podcast, is why we do it, is because we want you to feel like you have some, feathers in your cap of what to do in this navigation of transitions, and that sometimes involves a move, sometimes it doesn't. So back to our transactions, we are lucky enough that we have kept our 12 employees. So as anybody who knows, in the service industry, people kind of come and go, but we have some really long-standing employees. In fact, shout out to Shanda. If any of you have met her or been a part of a job where you've worked with her, she has been with the Move Handle with Care for 10 years. Big deal. So January 1st, I don't think she has an official anniversary, but that's just when you celebrate her anniversary. So anyways, we're celebrating 10 years with her. So we've had some longevity. I think below that, we've got 8 years and then 6 years and 4 years. So we've got people who've been with us for a really long time, and we love people who come in sometimes seasonally, but we've kept our 12 employees. And also with that, really big news, it has not been posted yet, but it will be soon. We just purchased a new van.
Yes, we did.
We're very, very excited. So when we have 3 Move Handle with Care vans in our fleet. So if you see us driving around, give us a honk and a wave. We would love that. If you ever see us and have a question, please stop us. We always are, up for, quick questions and things when you see us or whatever that might be, connection. We bought a Dodge Caravan. So it's a stow and go, and
which is great.
It's so great. So we put all the seats down. We don't use it like a minivan. It's totally locked and loaded. And it's just going to help us really serve our clients a bit better by being able to get supplies. And so our employees are excited about that one too.
Yes. And we're really excited because it just helps us grow in a way that is just funny, that people that I think in this industry don't really understand, because the amount of time and effort that it takes to load
get supplies
and unload and get supplies and do all of that. And so the fact now that we just have, each of our managers have a van, and then we have a van where if someone is out, a team lead, whatever is on, or one of us is out there, like you took it yesterday. And
So
I just
nice.
pulled up, I grabbed my keys.
Just loved it. Put my work bag in. I was off to the races. It was so nice. And it lets people know kind of where we are. So, we're out and about a lot. So that's super exciting.
Yes.
Speaking of our podcast, we also are up to, this one will be when we take this and repurpose it for our podcast in January, it will be our 24th episode. So we've been doing this for solid, and I don't know if anyone knows in the podcast world, but they say 20 episodes is usually when people quit, and we're no quitters. So we're going to keep going. So if you, as service providers or amazing folks who work with people in the transition space, whether that be seniors or beyond, we would love to pick your brain and host and talk about all the things that you help people navigate and do. That's exciting too.
That is. And along that lines too, we've had a lot of really fun, exciting things with the podcast, because we had a celebrity come onto our podcast this year. We traveled to our National Association meeting, and we filmed a podcast with Matt Paxton, who is, as most of you probably know, he's the show host of Filthy Fortunes. I don't know if anyone follows him, but he has been posting. He's doing the biggest horde cleanup in Washington.
Yes, and it's dreary and muddy and
snow, and it's outside and it's inside and it's snow and it's windy.
I did see that.
I was like, that just looks like the worst, Matt. So shout out to you for doing that. But he also does hoarders. He has a great book, Keep the Memory, Lose the Stuff. And that was a really fun podcast because it just gave us a chance to actually sit down with Matt one-on-one. Whenever we see him, we're in large groups of people. And so to sit down with him one-on-one, he's such a nice guy. He's got a lot going for him with his franchise of clutter cleaners. And So I would highly recommend, if you don't listen to any of the 22 or 23 that we've put out, but the one, that's a really great one. And that was fun for us.
Yep. That one came out in November because we did it in October. So yeah, that was super fun. What else do we have going on? Vendor fairs. We've done 4 vendor fairs. So we've done the one in Castle Rock. We've done the one in Parker. Again, just trying to get the word out and getting people resources and being able to ask questions. So we've done 4 vendor fairs over the year.
Mm-hmm. We were featured, going back to podcasts, we were featured on 3 other podcasts this year. We had Christian Living Communities hosted us to talk about the move management side with senior living and everything like that. And then the Exit Realty team, the Mama Bear team, had us on as well to talk about downsizing and move management.
And then you were featured on another podcast.
And then I was featured on a service podcast with a company on the East Coast that really just kind of focuses on service industries, and they're like an advertisement kind of marketing company. And that was kind of out of the blue. It was a really fun one because
it's all service industries that they do. So
Correct.
It's like cleaning crews and janitorial and I don't know. Now I'm not thinking of it. Plumbers.
Plumbers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else was on there, but a lot of cleaning services and things like that, which move management and moving came really highly into that as well.
Other exciting things, while we were talking about going to Dallas we belong to NASM, which is the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Management. It's a mouthful. But it's a national organization of folks like us who do work like us. And we are so collaborative. It's a really great opportunity for us to go once a year and collaborate with people across the nation who are doing what we do. And to kind of give you, if you haven't heard that, there's also an opportunity for us to job share. So let's say you're moving from Denver to Ohio. We try really hard to get those connections at that meeting so that when you're going to Ohio, we know who to call in that area. There's also a national database where you can find us and among others. It's also a way for checks and balances of service providers that are doing what we do. So we actually have the highest accreditation from them. We have the A+ accreditation, which means that we've gone through all of the, there's nothing that regulates our industry. There is for the moving industry, but move management is a little bit different. And so there's nothing that really regulates us. And so that's something we're super proud of. And the fact that we, have gone through all of their steps and protocols to be able to show that we are functioning as a business ethically and, taking good care of our people and all the things. So we love going to that. But we presented while we were there. We presented on how to be a true CEO of your company. And we made fun of ourselves because this year maybe we'll talk about it a little later, but it's been a year where we haven't really been great CEOs of our company because we've had to jump in. We've had to do more of our business. And so it was really good to be able to talk and kind of be vulnerable in front of a group of, 100 and some people that are doing what we do. So that was really fun and exciting. And then we celebrated very excitingly 2 buildings opened for senior living here in Denver.
Yes, we did, which was so fun. So the Reserve was
at Lone Tree.
Oh my gosh. That opening party
was a party.
It was a party. I pulled up and I got out, and I remember going because I was like, well, it's kind of a fancy place anyway. So you're gonna wear something a little fancier. We're not just gonna go in business casual. I feel like I was in Hollywood.
It was nice.
Even just the parking lot and the valet and then the red carpet, and then they had the Hollywood sign that you could take your picture with. And then you got in, and then just all the people around were so fancy.
It was very fancy. But I will say, so if you aren't familiar with the Denver area or not familiar with senior living, what it is they have tri-level care. So it's independent, assisted, and memory care. It's in one building. It's right off of I-25 in Ridgegate, which is close to my hood. So I really love how close they are. But they're really kind of focusing on, I don't want to use the word luxury, while some people would probably. They're trying to really make it a living experience. Farm to table dining and just really amazing amenities. They have an amazing pool that they do fitness classes in, and they have a gym, and they have a creative studio, which is so neat. It has 2 working kilns that people can do pottery and all the things. So it's a really, really, they want it to be more of an experience. There are a lot of snowbirds there too. that, it's a turnkey option for some people. And so that's kind of where they are. But again, if you're interested in them, I'm sure Tyler and Barbara over at the Reserve would love to give you a tour. And then the other building that just opened, which is very exciting for Erickson Senior Living, is the last and final building. Anyone who's familiar with Windcrest.
Yes.
It is off of 470 and Santa Fe. It's the very last building that they will build. So they're out of land. And this one they did differently. It's called Dillon's Landing. They did it different in the fact that instead of small apartments, they have less apartments but larger apartments, and they are large. We have done so. The reason we celebrate these two senior living is we just are in such need of senior living in our area, but also we've really helped open these buildings, moving people into these buildings, getting to know the layouts and all the ins and outs, and it has been a really exciting opportunity for us to help, these people transition. They've been waiting for a long time. A lot of people were on the wait list for these communities for a really long time. And so it's been really fun to see them, finally get to move in after multiple years of being on wait list or just the construction itself. So, yeah.
No, it was. And I think this kind of comes to an end of an era a little bit with Erickson, specifically in Windcrest. Because every time I talk to anyone, I'm like, oh yeah, they just opened their last one. There's no more land. And then everyone kind of goes, but is there no more land?
No, there really is.
I don't even know. It's been probably 10, maybe even 15 years that they've been building this community. And then they did remodel the assisted living and memory care building that they have. But that was more of a remodel. But that kind of looked, you just saw the construction going on. And I think people thought, oh, no, there's another building going up. There's another one. But they truly are out of land unless the conservation around them allows them to build, which probably won't ever happen.
No.
But yeah, so it's kind of an end of an
And it
era
will also, for
them.
anyone who's familiar with that area, will also open their second entrance, which is a really exciting thing for them.
Yes.
It's a secured, if you've been there, it's very secure to go in, and they're going to have a separate entrance. I think it's going to be mostly just for the residents there, so they can kind of buzz in and out, but it's on that backside, so you don't have to drive all the way through the complex. So that is slated to open when all the construction, right now they're still kind of doing some grounds work and utility stuff, I think, under. And so once all that's done, they're going to open that second entrance, which I think is very exciting for them.
Yep, especially for the residents, because the people that live on that backside, like, if you live in your neighborhood and you live on the opposite end of your entrance, to have that back entrance really makes a big difference for them. So,
I don't know if they're going to let us move through it, but that'd be super handy.
That would be very nice.
That'd be very handy.
Yes.
Yes.
And we've been hustling this year.
Yeah.
I will say,
2025
has been such a roller coaster for us because it just started out weird and roller coastery. And with that, the last statistic that we have is that in total, and I think we even went to more, but we went to 30 marketing events, networking events, happy hour, all of those things combined between us. We went to 30 of them this past year. And that, I think, speaks to how much we were hustling, because
we were hustling. And we've also decided to, it'll be interesting to see kind of what we do in 2026, but we've decided to kind of host some things and get more involved in certain programs. We are now one of the, I don't know if it's the word host, that's not really right, but coordinators, maybe that's a better word, of the Southside Coffee Chat. So any of the service providers who are in our area that are on the South Side that serve senior community, we get together once a month. And so we're helping kind of, get involved there. And we belong to the Denver Senior Coalition. We've been a part of the South Metro Chamber here in Denver. We've just been really kind of kicking down all the doors. Again, so many people, if we've heard it once, we've heard it a million times that, man, I didn't even know your company existed. Man, I didn't know that service existed. So the more we can just tell people that it exists, not just for seniors, but busy professionals and families and, corporate relocation and whatever that might look like. So just letting people know that you don't have to DIY a move anymore. You don't have to.
No, you don't. And that and not only you don't have to DIY, but even in this downsizing, like this doesn't have to be as hard as we think it has to be.
Right.
Right. It's that too. It's like having that confidence to do things and not have it. It's not that, to us, it's not that complicated because we do this every day. But when we explain to people how it doesn't have to be complicated, then they understand.
They totally understand it. Yep. Okay, so
Exactly.
we did rapid fire questions, which to be honest, we had to answer them first because I'm good. I'm glad that we did because some of them we had the same answers, some of them we had to edit our answers. No, just kidding. So we're just going to kind of run down our kind of rapid fire questions about this last year. So, Cierra, what is your one word to describe 2025?
Roller coaster.
And why?
As I said before, it just was a roller coaster. It was like January and February is always really slow for us. We're like, okay, that's fine. And then usually like by March, we start to go up the roller coaster all the way until like October. And then we go back down. And this year it was like, oh, and we just kept going
We just kept going down.
And then we kind of would go up and we're like, okay, here, it's coming. And then we would go back down. Like we just had these little ups. Little ups. But then in August, it was like, okay, it went up, but we have continued to go up, meaning like busy wise. We weren't. You know, I think what you said about Erickson and the reserve was like there was a pent up need of no places for people to move. The market was weird. All of that stuff was weird. But that,
So my one word for 2025 was weird. So she kind of took my word. But what we meant by that is it didn't follow the trends. And for anyone living in the Denver metro area or not, the other thing is that this year has been a lot of uncertainty. And I think that's been across the board for a lot of different people. So whether that is in the real estate market, we are very tied to the real estate market. It has been a very weird year. Or if you're tied to, finances, people are really strapped for cash this year. And so there's been a lot of different decision making because of that. And so we're just glad that the resiliency of this year, it has been weird, but luckily we have recouped. We do know that a couple moving companies went out of business this year here in our area. We know a couple move management companies went out of business this year. And so we're very, very grateful to have weathered the storm. And right now we're riding the wave. So I think that's how we would describe it. Roller coaster and weird.
Yes.
Biggest lesson this year.
You know, my favorite analogy is it's not over till it's over. Because like we said, we felt like in August, we were like, well, this is just the worst year we've had. Our numbers are down. We have no work. We have our employees. We had people retire and we're like, fine, we'll go down to the skeleton crew. And it's kind of like that fourth quarter in like a football game where you're like, well, that game's over. And then they come back, right? The other team comes back and wins. And I think that's it's here we are in December and things look drastically different than they did even the beginning of September.
Yep. And if you're looking for employment, we are still looking because like we said, we did not hire thinking that we didn't need to. And we lost some from retirement over the summer, some long-standing employees of ours. If any of you remember Renetta, she retired. She was with us for, 8 years.
Almost 8, I think 8 years.
She finally retired. Good for her. She's going to go move closer to her grandbabies and all that sort of thing. So we are definitely looking to hire because we didn't know we needed to. But my biggest lesson from this year was consistency wins every time. And I think we're really proud of that consistency wins because we show up, we do the right thing, we do it the right way, and just slowly but surely just keeping going. And I think that's also true with our systems. It's true with our culture of our community. We just try to really stay consistent. So while we may have felt, we always love the analogy of the duck. The duck, just gliding on the pond on top looks like it's just gliding on the top and underneath is just rapid paddling. And that's kind of how it's felt this year. So I think that consistent rapid paddling underneath has just has been what's made this year work.
For sure.
So hardest part of downsizing.
Geez, let's see. The emotional ties to things. That one's tough because you want to keep everything. The emotional letting go of things.
And I said the giving yourself enough time to plan. Most people don't give themselves enough time. And so it becomes like either you are paralyzed and don't do it, or you're so overwhelmed you don't know where to start, so you don't do it. And so it becomes, overwhelming if you don't give yourself enough time. What about the most underestimated part of a move?
Labor, 100%. I think sometimes we don't realize how long it's going to take us. We do a really good job in bidding, but sometimes it's like, ooh, that definitely took a lot longer to wrap or pull stuff out. But then I think also on the client side, people look at us and go, it's not going to take that long. And then it takes that long. Yeah.
I said time, money, and opportunity. I think when you underestimate a move is how much time it's going to take to prep. And by prep, I mean getting yourself either mentally, emotionally, physically, financially ready to move. There's a lot of things that have to be done. There's a lot of that is not necessarily the packing, moving, and unpacking. And so if you're not doing that part or giving yourself space to do that part, then the rest of it becomes even more overwhelming. And then also the time, money, and opportunity. And what we mean by that is how much of your life are you having to back away from or do in other ways because to sacrifice to do it yourself? And so we always say we would love to be able to do a move and put everything back and then let the client do it themselves. And guaranteed the time, if you equate that to how much you make at work or how much time you're taking away from something or your adult children who are flying in, how expensive a plane ticket was and their time off of work and away from their kids and their life. Those are the type of things I think people underestimate for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Packing
or unpacking?
I like packing. I like putting the stuff into a box and then pretending like I don't ever have to see it again.
And I said unpacking, and I think the unpacking that I like about it is I like the organization and the like creating the look, like the jigsaw puzzle that is creating the new look. So I would say unpacking. Mm-hmm. The most emotional item that people most often keep.
There's been a lot, but I think the biggest is childhood memorabilia, whether it's their physical childhood memorabilia or their children's artwork or little handprints or all of those things.
Or you had mentioned too, like sometimes like you have said that you are kind of the keeper of your genealogy. And so a lot of that stuff too, that is very hard to emotionally let go. Yes. And I said kind of in tandem with that, but the most common thing is photos. And I think people think they have to keep the photos in the book, in the album or whatever, and you can keep the photos without all of that. In fact, we have a whole podcast on how to preserve photos, and in an album is not actually the best way to do it. So people are really emotional on the photos. Yep. Okay, we disagreed on this one. First room to downsize. I picked the kitchen, and maybe that's because to me, I also think pantry. I think people's pantries get way too cluttered, but in the kitchen too, you kind of know what you use and what you don't use. Like I'm sure you are much more minimalist than I am, but it was actually funny. I opened up the drawer the other day and I was like, I have 4 spatulas. Paige has 1. I should probably get rid of some. I have 3.
3, okay.
I have 3. But what I will say is the other thing is I opened a drawer the other day and something got caught in the drawer.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, it's just going. I would rather throw it away and not rage over pulling that out. It's so irritating. So I was like, stuff like that, I'm like, it's out.
Yes.
But pantry, to your point, is it expired? Is it not?
Right.
Do you eat it? Do you not? And the thing is that so much of our pantries, depending on if you're lucky enough to have one bigger than mine, that's the size of a postage stamp, it goes and goes, and then you keep putting the new stuff in front of it, and then it just gets thick. So if you pull out the stuff in the back, 9 out of 10 times it's expired, it's molded, it's whatever. So you're right. That is a non-emotional place to start. I said the garage, and you were like, ooh. And I'm like, well, the thing about the garage is I'm not emotionally attached to anything in my garage. Now, I understand that maybe for men, that's probably not the case. But most of that stuff is either I need it or I don't. I've used it or I don't. It's dusty or it's not. And so to me, it's like, do I need all of these things or do I not? And so I think the garage is where I would start. But
interesting.
Yeah. Like all my husband's stuff, burn it.
Well, I'm thinking of like the rafters. I'm like, God knows what's up in the rafters.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you don't know, you probably don't need it.
You probably don't.
You don't need it. Okay, one mistake families most often make.
Don't plan ahead. Lots of last minute dumpster fires that we walk into just because people and it's not only like that they don't plan ahead, it's that they just keep ignoring the problem and be like, well, it'll get better, or I'll figure that out next month. Or I think it's just kind of a little bit of the ignorance, or not ignorance, that's not the right word. The inability to really face the issue that's going on, the hard emotional issue.
Right. And I would say pushing it down, kicking the can down the road sometimes just prolongs it. And really once you do it, like most things, it's not as hard as you thought it was.
Exactly.
The anticipation of the thing is absolutely that.
Right.
And I would say one of the mistakes is that people underestimate how much there is to do, depending on what stage of life you're in. So let's say you're a young family and you've got little babies at home. And so like we've gone into a move before, we've had to, pack a diaper bag because mom didn't think, oh my God, we're moving today. Like I need to have a diaper bag with extra clothes and extra this because I don't know where everything is. all the way to like maybe it's an older adult who maybe has lots of medical appointments to go to, or maybe you're really involved in your community and volunteering and this and that, and it's whatever that might look like. Underestimating how long it's going to take and what you're going to have to sacrifice to get that done, I would say is probably the biggest one. Okay, one thing that saves stress on move day.
Letting us do our job. There's so many times, and I get it, because we are dealing with people's personal items and emotions that people just question so much, like either how we pack or not even like how we pack. It's more just the methodologies that we have and like why we start in certain areas, and
or why it looks like a mess before it's cleaned up. Like a client who's like, well, that doesn't go there. And we're like, we just need to bring it all in and then we can parse out where it goes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the kitchen, and literally every place that we unpack, it looks like a disaster because you're just putting stuff on the counter because you need to visually see everything to then put it back in the cabinet.
It always does. There's always like 2:30 in the afternoon on move day. If you walked into any move on any day with us at 2:30 in the afternoon, you're going to walk in and be like, are these people sure they know what they're doing? And then by 4 o'clock, it just somehow always comes together. You take the trash, you take the moving supplies away, and it just all of a sudden starts to come together. And I think sometimes people don't let us, to your point, let us do our job. Let us just suss this out the way that we've done it every single time.
Right.
This is, a landing pad for this or whatever that might be. And then mine is very similar, is not trying to control every moment. I think, this is a time to feel a bit out of control. And so they try to, people try to control too much of that. And so honestly, like get up early, get yourself a coffee, get yourself breakfast, like do the things that take care of yourself when you're trying to do a move, because come 4 o'clock when you're crabby because you haven't had anything to eat because you like last minute and all the things. Just is not it. Like don't try to control everything.
Exactly.
So for our older adults, what's one of the things adult kids should notice?
Inserting their own emotions into situations when downsizing, because there's so many times where mom or dad is having a hard time letting go of something, but it's also because, they're like, well, I don't know if I should keep this, or actually this is a better example. So mom will let go of it and be like, no, I don't need that anymore. But then the adult child would be like, no, mom,
you should take it.
You should keep it. And it's like, that's not, we're not getting the gist of this situation.
Or the opposite, which is mom's having a really hard time and the daughter's like, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And you're like, that just makes it worse. And then,
Yes, because then you're taking that emotion. So it's like their own, because they're going through it too, right? Like we've both downsized parents and grandparents and had the emotions of letting it go. And so we sympathize with that, but at the same time, that's where like, if you can keep your own emotions at bay, and this is why people hire professionals.
Yes.
Because we don't have the emotions, and we can steer the emotions in a way that makes the client feel confident getting rid of something that they're like, no, I don't know if I should.
Yep.
But they should.
And I said the same thing. When you an adult child should recognize when a family dynamic is getting in the way of production. And so whether that's hiring somebody or stepping out of it or finding the right family member who is maybe the best person to handle it, whatever that looks like.
Right. The New York daughter.
Yeah.
Yep. The New Yorkers.
Most common, we should have called sooner moment. And we both agreed on this one, and it's a triggering event. Don't wait for a triggering event because then your move is imminent. So, for example, you're in your home, you fall, and now you have a hip replacement surgery, which takes you straight to rehab, and the rehab will not let you go back home because your house is full of stairs. So now you have to move somewhere else. And so that becomes an imminent move. Don't wait for a triggering event. So that's what we say all the time, is that's the one thing is we should have called sooner. Even if you're not sure, like let's just make a plan. And then when that plan comes to fruition, if it's 6 months, if it's a year, if it's 2 years, you now have a plan. And so you've already made, kind of those decisions ahead of time. One thing our team does best.
I said bringing calm to the chaos. We really do an amazing job, even from the start. Amy, when she answers that phone and people call and they're frantic, whether they're first-time callers or they're clients that, we haven't moved yet, but they're just kind of getting anxious about their move, and just helping them calm down, helping them realize, look at the forest, look at the trees between the forest, and just really finding that zen in the process.
And ours is fast and efficient. I said fast and efficient moves. That is what we're really, really good at. We don't mean that we don't take it. Obviously, a move handled with care, that is number one, our value, is doing things with care, letting our clients be in control and all those things. But we've gotten things really down to where we've done this enough to get it down to systems where we can do it fast and efficiently, which just really helps, especially with acute emotional situations. If you do it fast and efficient, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off over time. It's painful over time. If you rip it off quickly, it also gets them set up for success. They're having happy hour at the new community. You're enjoying the neighbors, with whatever in your front yard, playing with your kids. That transition, getting you there faster and efficiently, allows you to then start to enjoy that next chapter.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
All right. So one thing we're excited about most in 2026.
I said, and I think we have a huge growth opportunity here. We are on a great path right now. Going back to hiring, we are hiring and we need people to continue to help with that. Because obviously we need, we can grow so much, but we need people with that. But I just think there's a lot more opportunity out there that we're not tapping into. And I think 2025 taught us a lot of what we're good at, staying in our lane, and where that direction is. Because we kicked around a lot of different things of, well, we could do this or add this or do that. And we always kind of came back to it and said, no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yep.
So just keep doing what we're doing and really grow and continue.
So finish the sentence. Oh, I said continued partnerships. Yes, I was jumping ahead. Continued partnerships. I think, we pride ourselves on having good relationships with people, taking good care of their residents, taking good care of their salespeople. That is something that is very, very important to us. And so I think those continued partnerships with both of our professionals that are referrals in the community, from senior placement agents to real estate agents to whoever that might look like, downsizers and estate liquidators, things like that. I mean, those partnerships are so invaluable to us. And also with senior living, and, just also our partnerships of our connection. I can't tell you how many times this year we've had a weird, different off the wall problem and we know who to call. We have a really good list of people that have, proven themselves to be really helpful with our clients. So, all right. Last two, finish the sentence. Downsizing doesn't mean
keeping everything.
It's funny when you said this earlier, I was like, do you mean not getting rid of everything? And she's like, no, I really mean, it does not mean keeping everything. It's true.
There is this cartoon and it's this lady and this other lady, and there's 3 boxes: keep, donate, and trash.
I can put that on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
I'll pop it up.
We'll pop it up there. But anyways, the keep pile is overflowing. The donation pile barely has anything and the trash has nothing in it. And she goes, I don't think you're understanding the point of this exercise. And that is how I feel like so many times we go into these clients' houses and they decide not to deal with the stuff and not downsize ahead of time. And so the solution is we'll just take it all.
Yeah, and sort it out later.
And we'll sort it out later, which in theory kind of makes sense. But when you're going from a bigger square footage to a smaller square footage, that's not downsizing. No. That's not the definition.
And you're paying to move it multiple times because you're moving it to the new place. And then from there, you either are going to sell it, donate it, whatever. So now you've got to figure out how to do it in all these other multiple facets. So you're paying for it multiple times. So don't pay to move it. Just pay to do something else with it if that's what you want to do.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I said downsizing doesn't mean getting rid of the memories. So much of, and Matt Paxton's book talks about it a lot, is really focusing on your legacy list. What really means something to you? What are your must-haves? It doesn't get rid of the memories. To get rid of your child's, turkey handprint from second grade doesn't mean that you don't remember your child as a second grader. It doesn't mean that you didn't have that memory with your child. So I think, extrapolating what is really those, significant things, and focusing on what you get to keep, not necessarily what you give away.
Exactly.
But our last one, we agreed without a shadow of a doubt. We said moving is easier when you hire the right professionals. And we've seen this time and time again, and not just because we are the right professionals, but because we've seen people do it every which way, and we know that we can do it better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. One, more efficient, and just, this is why you hire professionals. This is why when the toilet leaks, you don't go,
some people do.
Some people do. Look at my phone. Let me figure out the YouTube video. You just call the plumber, or you ask your neighbor, hey, who's your plumber? Or Paige calls me and asks, who I use.
Yeah, who you use, because she's, the mayor and knows everyone. But yes, hiring the right professionals. And I will say this is a subtle shift in our culture, and I love the subtle shift, is that we are relying more on professionals to do things. We're putting our pride down. I feel like that's a new and upcoming idea, is that we don't have to do it all ourselves.
Right.
Because if you stay in your center of genius and do what you're really good at, then you get really good at it, no matter what it is. If it's, music, art, painting, plumbing, house building, if that's what you do well, why would I try to reinvent the wheel unless I'm trying to learn a skill?
Right.
I don't think anyone's trying to learn a skill of how to be a mover. And when we talk about like the nuances of of our industry and like what we know about it, sometimes these moves are a little bit different than you anticipate. They're a lot more complex. So you may do it and then be so disappointed when it doesn't turn out right. And so I'm really glad to see this. I mean, how many people have their groceries delivered now? Right. Or do meal prepping services, or their dry cleaning gets delivered to their house? All the things that we didn't used to hire out, like we're all hiring out our Christmas tree lights. When we were kids, my God, that was what you did, and I think like I said, there's a subtle shift, and they look a lot nicer now, don't they? They look a lot nicer. They're not as like squiggly and like none of them work and, all the things. So, I'm glad to see that people are starting to trust other people. In fact, I do. I trust a lot more people than, I used to think I had to do it all myself.
Right.
And you don't need to.
Right.
You don't.
Well, and speaking of Christmas, for the sake of we are in the Christmas time, another question for you is on trees, fake or real?
Okay, fake. And I'm going to add on to this. A client of mine just had the most amazing tree I've ever seen in my life. It's modernchristmastree.com, I think is what it's called. And they are aluminum. They suspend from something and they hang down, but they flatten to nothing, and they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. I think it's a Denver-based company. One of my clients had it, and I just fell in love when I was there. And I was like, you know what? This is the most perfect minimalist. They have them that go like flat on the wall, so it just comes out of the wall.
Right.
So for people who have maybe small spaces, minimal spaces, now they're not the cheapest Christmas tree out there, but they are so beautiful, and I think a really great. And I'm all about minimalism in that way, and I think that would be maybe something down the road.
Well, and so unique too.
So unique. And you can have your own ornaments. So people think that you're like, oh, you can actually hang your own ornaments. So I think I gave the right website. I really hope I did. But they are absolutely gorgeous. So I know what you're gonna say, but I'm definitely in the fake one. And in fact, I have a 9-foot tree, but it's a pencil tree. So he's real skinny in my house because I kind of don't have a good spot for it, but that's neither here nor there. But it's flocked, and that's the only thing that really just puts my family over the edge, is the flock.
It's the flock.
It's real pretty, though.
It is, because you have your adult tree upstairs.
And the kid tree in the basement.
And you have the kid tree in the basement with all the ornaments on it.
That looks like Charlie Brown.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes. And we are fake. We are a real family.
Yeah, real Christmas tree family.
We are a Charlie Brown family because we go and cut down our own Christmas tree every year. And so it's like this whole tradition, which is, it's so fun to fight with your spouse in the woods every year over.
And the kids got to go to the bathroom, and somebody's too
someone's
cold,
gotta pee, and
somebody's hungry.
Cold,
yeah, it sounds like a blast.
No one knows where the dog is. It's great. And, but we do find this year, actually, we found our trees are usually like anywhere from 10 to 12 feet. 12 is like the largest that we can go. When we go to 12, usually they fall over at least night number 1. So we've learned our lesson. But we just love going. But this year we actually found a really good tall one that had a really sturdy base.
You have a Christmas tree, which kills me, like a thing that they sell Christmas trees in your like right outside your neighborhood.
Yes, it's right across the street.
But that is not where you get your tree.
No, and
that's
it was
where
hilarious
I would get my tree.
Because this year, my neighbor, who usually goes cutting with us, went to the Christmas tree lot because they couldn't go cutting with us, and they went and bought the tree. And the amount of money that they spent, I was
it's like 4 times the price.
Yes, 4 times the price. I was like, we didn't even spend that. And he goes, yes, but it took me 30 minutes. It took you 5 hours. So, again, the time over profits there. But
for sure. Well, cheers to 2025 and cheers to 2026. We are super excited to see what happens next year. Thank you for joining us on all of our journeys of our social media platform, from our podcast, visiting our website, seeing us at a presentation. We appreciate you. We could not do and be who we are without you. So thank you so much for your continued support for us and your future support. We really appreciate it. So if you would like and subscribe to all of our Facebook, Instagram, our podcasts, our newsletter, we'd love to connect with you and just be, another resource for you in all things transition.
Yes. Thank you all so much. Like Paige said, we really could not do it without you. And we really appreciate everybody out there. So thank you.
Yes, and happy holidays. That wraps up another inspiring episode of the Making Space for podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible guests and to you, our cherished listeners. Your journey to intentional living begins with each small step, and we're honored to be a part of it. Before we part ways, a friendly reminder: if you're embarking on a move or seeking expert guidance in downsizing, remember, a move handled with care here in Denver. With over 15 years of experience in senior and specialty move management, we're here to transform your transition into a seamless, stress-free experience. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and visit us on social media or at amovehandledwithcare.com for more inspiration and resources. Until next time, stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep making space for what matters most.